Hello, welcome back to Ask Steve Judd. I am Sue Brain, and today I have Morning World with me. Yippee doo!
Full
So,
mug of coffee, full triple espresso. Right,
oh God, okay. God, you're going to be buzzing. I've
don't
got
need
my
to.
water with me, so that's okay. So, where are we going to start? Because we have been having a little bit of a preamble before we press record on various things, and I just wondered where you would like to start with it all.
Well, we are in between eclipses,
We are.
and the moon is currently in Scorpio,
It is.
squaring Mercury exactly as we speak. So that's
Yeah.
not a good start.
Well, it's an interesting start, isn't it?
Yeah. Um, I viewed the solar eclipse. Where did you see
Yeah.
the solar eclipse from?
I saw it from home. It was fantastic. It just, everything went just, you went, I know you were out because you sent me that picture, but I love the way it goes dark. It didn't go fully
Yeah,
dark, but it
it
just
was.
goes
It was
away.
like it was. I was in the centre of Avebury Circle in a friend's house,
Yeah.
and it was like the grey after a very strong morning rainstorm.
Yes. 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 But it's even weirder than that.
And the next morning I woke up in a bed and breakfast in Avebury, looked out the window onto the stones, and there between two of the big stones is a big hunky man with a big beard, fast asleep on the ground, cuddling a giant pink unicorn. And I'm thinking, this isn't Glastonbury, this is Avebury. Okay, whatever.
Was he a druid?
Oh, bound to be.
Yeah. Oh God, how sweet. He was cuddling his pink unicorn. I love that. This is what I love about England being a bit crazy, space, especially in those kind of places. I mean, I
Yeah.
think everything's humming. That's what I feel. I don't know about you. I just feel the eclipse was really full on for me. And
I was
because
an
it also
amazing.
sitting on
I'll
my
tell you, Sue,
Pluto.
I had a revelation watching that eclipse. I was actually, because I was watching it through a filter, through
Yeah.
glasses
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and a welder's mask. And that's where I got the photos. And as it was happening, I was thinking, oh, great, an eclipse. Yeah, it's only about the third one I've ever seen in my life. Amazing. Yeah, great. And then I sort of went, whoa, wait a minute. And I realized that I was watching the moon move across the face of the sun. Yes. But
Yeah.
I was watching the end of a waning cycle and the beginning of a waxing cycle in
Yeah.
action.
Yeah. Yes.
And that was
Of
something else. That was a bit of a revelation for me.
And do you feel like that spoke to something that's happening in your life?
Oh, yes. And I'm not going any further than that at the moment. But I will have news in a few weeks'
Yeah,
time of big
yeah,
changes in my life. So, yes.
yeah. Isn't that interesting? So I love the way we're called, aren't we, to really connect so deeply with these
Well,
symbols.
as
And for other people, it might have meant nothing.
as you know, I
You,
have the
it
moon
spoke.
have the moon on the IC in Sag at
Oh,
21 degrees,
right.
and
Yeah,
the eclipse was trine my IC and trine my moon very strongly,
love it, especially
and
with
for new
what's
moon. And
happening.
it was
Yeah.
sextile my Mercury and MC very strongly. So it was good
Ah,
for me.
yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely.
great.
I just felt pokey.
I
I
thought it was a lovely eclipse.
I got Nazi. I
Did you?
definitely did. Yeah, because it was sitting on Pluto for me. So
Oh,
I got a little bit Nazi, I have to say, or sort of not cross, but just irritated.
well, I'm glad you were on your own then. Otherwise, it would have been, who are you looking at?
I know.
Who are you looking
I
at? You want
took it
fight?
off somebody else around me actually the next couple of days, and I thought, why am I being so Nazi? And I suddenly thought, I wonder if it's the clips, and it's kind of, and anyway, it made me, as they say, it made me reflect.
God, you're being polite today. Right. Well, the next eclipse, the lunar eclipse, is going to be
Yes.
quite a big one because it's strongly square Uranus.
I know. It very is strongly. There's 1 degree in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, where do you how and also because dear old Uranus is in Gemini. So do you think there's going to be more revelations? I mean, there's
I just think there's
must
going to be a
be.
couple of sudden twists and turns, a couple of sudden
I think
surprises and
so.
shocks.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
couldn't. I mean, I'm used to seeing drama in the news, but yesterday I saw a headline. It just made me think. Trump has promised to bomb the shit out of Oman. I thought, wait a minute. Oman's an ally. Oman's a British protectorate, or it was, and they're one of the good guys. And what's going on? And yeah, the world's getting
Mad.
still just as crazy as ever.
It is. Yeah, I'm very confused why he's still where he is. They have,
Well, as we know, he's got Mars on the ascendant at 26
yeah,
to 29 Leo, the ascendant's at 29 Leo, the mean node, which I use, not the true node, but the
yeah,
mean node retrograded back into Aquarius in the last couple of days. As I look at it now, it's at 29:58 of Aquarius, and the sun's at 26 Leo. So the sun's going to be opposite the node in the next 3 days. Trump's Mars is at 26 Leo and his ascendant's at
yeah,
29 Leo. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he's probably going to get a
Implode.
bit hot under the collar.
I'm going to just bracket everything. Can you explain for everyone listening the difference between mean node and true node?
Easy.
Go for it.
The North Node, the point of the North Node is the point where the moon's orbit, as perceived from the Earth, and the sun's orbit, as perceived from the Earth, cross. And every night, that point where they intersect
Yep.
moves slowly, about 1 to 1.5 degrees each month. It moves, that is the North Node point. It moves through a sign in 90, 18 and a half, 18 and three quarter months. It changes, sorry, it changes sign, got that wrong,
Yeah.
every 18 and three
Yeah.
quarter years. Uh,
And sign
months,
every eight,
months.
around about 8 months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
its cycle is 18 and a half,
Yeah.
19 years. And that movement, when you split the movement of the sun's moon interactive point over a period of 18 years, you can divide it into 3.2 minutes of 1 degree each day. That is the average movement of it. That is the mean node. However, as we all know, the moon doesn't just go around the earth, it also goes in and out, up and down. So its position on the earth is always changing. It gets further away and closer. And when it gets closer, it goes faster. When it's further away, it goes slower. So when you look in your ephemeris, you will see the position of the true node as going forward, backward, forward, forward, backward, backward, forward, forward, backward. But over a period of a month, it moves the same distance as the mean node. But the true node is the true position where the moon and sun's orbits interact. And because of the distance of the moon, further and nearer away, that can be much slower or faster movement. Sometimes it appears to go backwards a little bit.
Yeah. Isn't
But
it? So the mean node is the average.
yes,
Yes, exactly. I think that will help people understand that it's the average rate of movement of the node
yes.
incorporating backwards and forwards, but that's what it is. And why do some astrologers work with true nodes and other astrologers work with mean nodes?
That is a very good question. You've frozen. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you've
Right, fine.
frozen.
That is a very good question. I think the answer is, bearing in mind the node originally came from, what's it, Ketu and Rahu, came from
Yeah,
Hindu
yeah.
astrology in the
Vedic
1890s.
astrology.
Yeah, and courtesy of Blavatsky, Leo, and McMathers.
Mm.
And the true node, I think, is perhaps more of a representation of the Vedic way of still looking at the node in terms of karma, reincarnation.
Yeah,
The average point of the node in Western astrology, the mean node, which is what I use, I choose to see that less to do with any religion or belief system and more to do with things like mission statement, purpose, and even reason why you volunteered to come here.
Yeah.
So I suggest that the mean node is perhaps more in tune with concepts of individual self-determination, whereas the true node is more in terms of fate and destiny.
Yes, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Yes. I
I'm
think
free
that
will, not
yeah,
fate.
yeah, I think that's really interesting for people to sort of understand the difference between the two. So
But then
basically,
they're never more than half a degree apart.
no, exactly. But basically, for anyone what whatever you do, just get drawn to what works for you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's what I always say about
yeah, yeah.
astrology.
And the
So
nodes, of course, if the node is within 10, 12 degrees of the sun or the moon at the time of a new moon or full moon, that's when you get eclipses. And the
yeah.
closer the node is to the sun or moon, the stronger the eclipse. And if it's within 2 or 3 degrees, 4 degrees, you get total eclipses.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, which we've got actually, well, we've got the full moon eclipse coming up. So the moon it's 4 degrees Pisces, and the node it's at 29
Yes,
degrees
and I
Aquarius.
believe I don't think it's a total. I think it's a point 0.9.
It's point 0.9 to bloody near.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
fits with that pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So do you
yeah.
want to talk a little bit more about the full moon eclipse, which is on August 28th? What day? I can't remember what day we are today.
Well,
But
it's
anyway,
obviously going to anybody with planets at 4 degrees of Pisces or Virgo, or to a lesser, well, and 4, 5 degrees of Gemini, Sagittarius. So 4, 5 degrees
yeah,
of the mutables. Yes,
yeah.
you're going to be affected by it. I'm more interested from a personal perspective. I've just got this thing about the visual phenomena we'll get because depending on where you are on the planet's surface and the atmospheric conditions, we're going to see a very large proportion of the moon go either ochre, brown, gold, or deep
Yes,
red.
yes.
And that should be quite interesting. That should be fun to watch.
I think it's going to be fantastic. But the other thing is, which is feeding into the square to Uranus, is we've got Mercury right next door. I don't think it's quite Gazimi, is it? It's at 0522, where the sun is 0450. Oh, no, it is actually. So we've got Mercury in the picture right next door to the sun, which is
There'll be a
interesting.
Mercury Uranus square.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. In the
Oh,
same
oh,
sign of.
there's going to be some words.
I think so. I think
And
so.
there's going to be some wildfire words. I would not recommend anyone to be signing contracts on that day or close to it.
No, no, and be very, very careful what you say and how you say it because it tends to
Yes.
blow up, I think. I think it's going to be played out on the big scale on the big stage, definitely. We don't know how yet. As you say, you mentioned Trumpy, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with him because he's definitely saying some very strange things at the moment. But I'm interested, Stephen. We did sort of touch on this, and I hope it's appropriate for people who are listening. But we were talking about the what's blown up in around the eclipses with Stephen Forrest, and I find this all very interesting because it's I'm not agreeing with what he how he said what he said. I'm not, absolutely not. But I'm very I am concerned about the public jury that has been very vocal, and it seems quite interesting that it's sort of sitting between the two eclipses. What is happening? This sort of the cancel culture, and it introduced me to this whole concept of due process. And due process actually dates back to the Magna Carta.
This is UK only,
Which
stress.
is UK. That is true. Yes, but we are UKers. We're not. I mean, I'm not an American, but I take this to heart. And what is fair and proper process? And this in the old times, it would be when a government acts to deprive a person of a liberty or property of some form of life, they have an absolute right to be heard, absolute right to be heard, and to decisions of what they have done or what they are accused of to be made by a neutral decision maker.
So not their peers.
Not their peers. No, not their peers. And I think, um, yes, I'm quite interested in that. And I wondered where you were with that. And this might be insanely challenging for some people, but Stephen in his inner sky, and that's meant to be his seminal work. I mean, he's wrote it a while ago now. He wrote the seven principles, kind of the ethical backbone of astrology. And he did talk about the seventh principle being the independence from any form of dogma. And because for him, dogma shuts down human awareness. And I just wanted to talk to you generally about this because we do seem to be living in a cancel culture without fair and proper process.
I'm a fan of the rock and roll singer Patti Smith. She's one of the very few people I've got total respect for. She's never advertised anything. She made a seminal rock and roll song. Well out there. It's on all her albums. She's been singing it for 30 or 40 years. And she references many people who are outside of society. And that's what she used the word for. It seems to me, I've never met Stephen Forrest. I've never spoke to him. I've never had any contact with him. He's been an astrologer 55 years. He's one of the best astrologers we've ever had. He's written many books. He's well respected by the vast majority of his peer group. And then he screwed up.
He did.
He said one thing that completely destroyed his 55 years of work, which, to be honest, he was stupid. Now, in 1980, I had a bucket of petrol poured over my head and my clothes, and a group of black women around me with cigarette lighters, and they were going to burn me because I was white. That was the only reason. This was in the ghetto on an island in the Caribbean where I was living with my pregnant partner. 3 months later, she gave birth to my daughter in that ghetto, the first white baby to be born on that island for 50 years. And everyone was coming around with presents because we had a white baby born on the island. And it just changed overnight from we're going to burn you and kill you to, you're really welcome. So I've been on the receiving end of life challenging racist attacks. I abhor racism in every shape or form, as much as misogyny. It is wrong in every form, religious, race, gender, wrong. What I don't like are witch hunts. I see so many people immediately after this suddenly going claws out, including some very well-known astrologers who should know better. Shame on you. I'm not condoning what he said. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. He should know better. And mate, he's just stupid. That is stupid to do that. But so's the witch hunt. Now, one last thing on this before I throw it back to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
As you know, I'm not a fan of politicians, right? And most politicians to me are just despicable. However, there's a couple of politicians from the past whom I really actively disliked. I loathed them because of their principles and their beliefs and their politics. But I respected them, even though I loathed them, because they stood up for what they believed was right. One of them was a person who was brutally murdered recently, a woman called Anne Widdecombe. And she gave, when she was at the Oxford Debating Society, she was challenged about her beliefs, and she gave a quote which is so pertinent. No one has the right to live their lives being protected from offence or hurt feelings. It is an occupational hazard of living in a society. If you can't take it, become a hermit. And I thought, you're absolutely right. We should not be protected from being offended. If you choose to be offended, that's your issue.
Yeah. God, it's a
Now,
big,
I was offended by what Stephen Forrest said,
yes.
and I was outraged by it, and I was also like, you bloody idiot.
Mm,
A, you're stupid for you. B, you've not done astrology any favours. But when I
well,
saw the witch hunt,
I know that's what made me feel uncomfortable. And I'm just wondering if it is something to do with these very, very powerful eclipses. You know, the new moon eclipse was in Leo, all about leadership and what that means to us and being authentic. You know, the higher aspect for me for Leo is shining your light authentically, not through um, um, avarice and pride, but this is who I am in my glory, and people don't like that. And then you've got this full moon eclipse with this very strong T square to
yeah,
Uranus in
yeah,
Gemini.
yeah. And that's going to be followed a month later by Mars moving at 4 degrees of Leo.
Yes, yes,
And then after that, we're
yeah,
going to start talking about Mars retrograde.
yeah. And
Now,
Mars is the trigger. Just for everybody, Mars triggers any hotspot in the chart. Yeah.
yeah, I know a lot of people are talking about the Venus retrograde that's imminent, coming up soon, but uh, mm, I'm I'm not that comfortable with the transits of Venus. I don't feel it, so I can't really be authoritative
Mm.
about it.
Mm.
I do know, however, that people born with Venus retrograde generally say that when Venus in the sky is retrograde, they're at their best, they're most effective and efficient.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. Because they have a very different relationship with Venus, with somebody who's got Venus
Yeah.
direct. You know, it's
Mm.
the Venus direct, you're out there carrying your Venus, and then it's a very internal process when you've got Venus retrograde. And what does beauty mean? And that sense of perhaps having to deal with, well, what is beauty and am I it?
Yeah.
I think a lot of
Oh, I'll
people
tell
with
you what
Venus
else is lovely,
retrograde feel
Susie.
that. Huh?
At the end of this month, any day now, really, well, it's already in range. The first of a long, long period of Jupiter trine Saturn.
Yes, it's coming in. Absolutely. I've just been looking at that here. It's at two at the well on the
I
full
think it's
moon
on the
eclipse. It
31st, is the
it
last. Yeah.
it's it's at oh, it's right here. So yeah, absolutely. So it'll be completely together. Yeah, on the 31st. It's the 31st, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I wonder how that's going to start playing out because it's going to bring something, some theme from when they were conjunct.
Well, it is. But if you look at the cycle, Jupiter,
Yeah.
Saturn's already going retrograde.
Yes.
When Jupiter goes retrograde, it will only go back as far as 16 degrees, I believe. So it won't trine Saturn by retrograde. But then when it stands still at 16 degrees, it's going to stand still for a couple of months at 16 degrees in January and February.
Interesting, isn't
At
it?
which time Saturn is beginning to accelerate and Saturn will overtake Jupiter. So there will be another
Yeah.
Jupiter Saturn trine in
Yeah.
late February, early March, but this time it will be Saturn trining Jupiter.
Mm.
And then there's a third one in the early mid July when Jupiter catches up again. And that'll be at 26 degrees, 27 degrees of Leo Aries.
Interesting, isn't
So
it?
we've got a 9 month, eight, seven, eight.
Yeah.
No, we got a 10 month, 10.5 month long Jupiter Saturn trine going on, which is nearly a year of Jupiter trine Saturn. Oh no, when I see Jupiter trine Saturn in a personal chart, I'm always saying, well, look, you're a good business person. You know, you're not a spender, but you're not a miser. You've got good business and financial judgment, and you'll always be able to make money as long as you don't go over the top or undercut yourself. It's because Jupiter's about excess
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Saturn's about restriction.
absolutely.
So they
But they're
balance each
working
other out.
together.
And
I
in
was
fire
told,
signs,
yeah.
It's to do with the portrayal of business in the outside world. This is actually quite good
Yeah.
for the global economy, I think.
Is it? I call them the manifestors. That's how I look at them when they're working together like that. They're great manifestors. I
Mm,
don't, oh God, I don't know, Steve, because it's interesting this fire, the fact, they're in fire
mm,
signs because of all
mm.
the fires that we've been having. And, I think Saturn in Aries, I think it's just manifested like that. And maybe this trine has with Jupiter has expanded that. I'm not saying it's true, but I'm curious about that. Um, I don't know. I don't think we've had the fallout yet of what these fires have done across Europe. I mean,
Oh, they destroyed next year's seed stocks.
absolutely. And I do think, and without being what you call it, I do think there's going to be food shortages on some level. I do. And I think we have to be just prepared for that, just to be not go into panic mode, but just be sensible around it, that we may not be getting what we expect to get anymore for a while. And how is the soil going to rejuvenate itself after this kind of fire? But it does, but it takes time. And that's not what human beings are good at, being patient. So many of us, particularly. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. And well, I think with Jupiter's, when you look in the background, I was looking at it this morning because when I did a video, I was thinking, because I did a video this morning, and I'll come back to that in a minute. But when I was looking at the current status, yeah, the sun's opposite the node. The eclipse, we're in mid eclipse. Mars has just finished a square to Neptune. Venus is just approaching an opposition to Saturn. Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are still doing their dance and will be for a year and a half. Jupiter trine Saturn. That is the new thing that's coming in now, and I think that's helpful. When you look at the
Mhm.
movements of Jupiter with Saturn and then Uranus with Neptune and Pluto, the background, the big picture, the long-term influences here are actually very favorable. They're bringing an upgrade and a correction. But a lot of people aren't going to like it because they're wedded to their status quo.
Yeah, and I think the other thing which I find interesting about Jupiter and Saturn, they're the social planets. So this is a social, this is societal. It isn't just personal.
Yes, yes, indeed.
It's going
It
to
is.
affect the whole of society
Yes,
and our place in it.
yes. I imagine that in reaction to the recent environmental situation around the world, although I note that the Philippines, Japan have been getting terrible floods,
Yeah,
I imagine that it's going to be role reversal in 6 months' time. I imagine that there's going to be a lot of flooding
yeah, I think
in
so.
Europe and America as we get into January and February,
Mm.
and a lot of drought elsewhere. Um, I'm not going to get into the global warming argument because it's a waste of time and energy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering, about the basket or the cradle or whatever you want to call it with the outer planets. I mean, I'm just interested because it does seem that the full moon eclipse does play into that because it comes out that where are we? The sun is at 4 degrees and so is the moon at 4 degrees, Pisces and uh,
And I've
Virgo,
realised,
eclipse. Go
just
on.
this second realised that the eclipsed moon will be on the Neptune Pluto midpoint.
Yes, yes. It's just right there. And I'm just curious about that.
Ooh, that doesn't bode well.
Hmm.
Okay, so
Yes, it is
kick,
absolute. Yeah, it's
kickback
creating.
time. There's the planets impel, they don't compel, right? Astrology is not a method of forecasting our future or predicting the future. And anyone who says it is doesn't understand astrology. It does give reference point. It's a way of objectively and detachedly describing ongoing situations. And it does give indications as to the best timings to do things or the worst timings to
Yeah.
do things.
Yeah.
So it's a help, but it doesn't say
Yeah.
what will or won't.
Yeah.
However, as you know, and as people who are watching this have heard me say, to me, astrology is not inert. It is alive. It has valence and life force. So to me, I consciously work with that energy of allowing astrology into my life and me working with astrology. So in the middle of all this, in the middle of eclipses and all these crazy aspects, I'm taking anywhere from 9 to 12 people to Spain at the beginning of September for a week long astrological retreat where no filming, no recording. Everyone's going to be sharing their charts in a place where we've got individual chalets with bidets, ensuite showers, individual Wi-Fi, top of the range, organic cotton, Portuguese cotton bedding, porcelain, Italian porcelain switches in China, personal chefs.
Ooh.
Yeah, personal chefs. This is not one of those retreats where everyone's sharing one toilet outdoors and living in a dormitory. This is the DB of retreats, and check that out for those Americans that don't understand what the DB
Yeah.
is. And I'm going to be teaching every day as well as doing individual readings. There's going to be, if the idea is not just about astrology, it's about community building. Half the people there are coming from shifts happen anyway. So there's already going to be the essence of a community. And the idea is the intimacy of community and the intimacy of allowing astrology to flow
Yeah.
in through with us and the growth of both spiritual and consciousness enhancement that will bring. So this is
Yeah.
going to be amazing. I've still
Oh,
got. It's a bit of a sales technique because I've still got 2 or 3 slots left. So anybody who wants to come along, just
yeah.
just just drop me a line.
So
This
and
is
so Steve, what they need to do is get in touch with you from through your website or through
yeah, by email. Yeah, you can contact me through my website.
so
That's the easiest way.
Steve, yeah, stevejudd.co. Oh, no,
Yes,
yes, Steve Steve, yeah, okay.
yes,
I'll put it below anyway.
and so yeah, but it should be an amazing event, and it's not inexpensive. But then you've got the very best.
Yeah,
You've got one of the best
absolutely.
astrologers, but you've got the best food, the best accommodation. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be about 28 degrees.
And
I've just ordered a really big telescope.
fantastic. And
Yeah,
we both know Heather, who runs the retreat center. Can't speak
yeah,
more highly of her.
highly enough. She's great.
She's
Yeah,
absolutely
so it's
fantastic.
it's going to be. There may be 1 or 2 glasses of local wine.
I'm sure there will be. That's absolutely fantastic. Steve, is there anything else you'd like to say to finish off?
We live in the craziest of times, Sue. You know, if a year ago we were doing videos and we were talking about what it was going to be like by this time, and we were going, it's uncharted territory. And now here we are. You know, when you look ahead beyond this eclipse, beyond the lunar eclipse, we're not grasping at straws. There's still the Mars retrograde and Jupiter trine Saturn.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
we do seem to be heading into less manic times. So I do
yeah.
think things are beginning to calm down as we get into September.
Mm. As
Fingers
you can see,
crossed.
I just think it's really helpful that there's so much retrograding going on because it is a time of reflection and a
Yeah.
time of to go, hang on a minute, how do we want this world to start turning out like? And encouraging each other to do community, to come more into a community, a ground up way of being, helping our children to understand, the fact that this is life. It isn't, that life can be extremely challenging, but we can rise to the challenge. That's the big thing. There's a lot of fear out there at the moment. And how do we deal with that fear? And I think that's something that we've all got to help each other with.
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
Continue reaching out, continue supporting people around you. The future of this planet is based on community, local and
Absolutely.
international.
Yeah,
Deal with it. It's the
yeah,
future. Without
yeah,
it, you become isolated and
yeah,
then screwed.
yeah. And then that's not good for your mental health. Okie dokie. So the next time we'll meet, I will be in Australia.
And I'll be back from Spain.
And you'll be back from Spain, so we'll see everybody there in different guises. I
I'm going
know.
to be speaking to you in Australia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to have so much fun taking the piss out of you there.
I'll be talking like this, cobber.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, don't worry. I've already got plans for that one. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, and thank you again. I know Steve and I just love the fact you love this video, and we love the fact you love the video, and just, thank you so much for watching
We
us.
we just started this for a laugh a few years ago, just for a
Yeah,
laugh, just see what would happen. But we've
yeah,
got a community out there now,
yeah. It's
and
just
the comments you
wonderful.
send on these videos, we do read them,
We do.
and thank you,
Yeah, thank you
thank
so
you.
much. Totally value them. All right, so God bless all, and God bless you on your journeys. And yeah,
Catch you
see you
later, world.
next month.
Right.
Take care for now.
Bye.
Bye.